Most people want to hunt backwards. They choose their roles and then they try to fit into them. They just want a job. But what they find themselves in jobs that are misaligned to their energy, and that's where it starts to drain. From day to day, from the next request, from the performance reviews, everything seems like it's just harder than it should be. So when you use disc behavioral science, you can actually flip how you look for jobs, how you present yourself in the job market so that you can align to a job that actually matches your natural energy and flow. So let's learn how to figure out what role actually matches your energy, how to communicate that out in your resumes, the jobs you're looking for, and the interview process. And then you can show up with clarity and confidence that this is the job that you're going to thrive. Now let's break down DISC so that you can see what type of style you might already be. If you are unsure, go ahead and grab up an assessment with the link in the show notes. D is our dominance. These are our reds, and they're direct. They're problem solvers. They're very results driven. They can be competitive. They're fast movers. I's is influence. These are our yellows. And they're going to be a little bit more social, creative. They can be persuasive to others. And they just have a source of energy to them. They're very relationship driven. They are also fast paced movers. S is our greens. This is our supportives. They're a little bit more steady, patient, calm, team orientated. They're going to be reliable in those background type of functions. And they are systems friendly. They like that steadiness. They don't like a lot of high change. They're more methodical. So they're going to be a little bit slower pace, but higher quality, looking at the gaps and discrepancies that might come up. So you might be an S, a supportive. Now C's are our compliance. They're our blues, and they're detailed orientated, analytical. They need information to move. They like that logical thinking and accuracy. Quality is super important to them. So again, they're going to be a little bit slower paced, but higher quality because they're slowing down to see maybe those gaps, datas, and details before they move forward. Now, this is a reminder that disc behavioral science isn't a personality label. You're choosing an environment in which your energy naturally thrives, that work aligns to where you perform best. Now, after you identify what disc work style you are you fast paced or are you slow and methodical? Do you need details and information to move? Are you more background team orientation and systems friendly? Are you more of that creative, fast pivots and social, or are you the results orientated competitive person? Once you know what this style you are, you can identify some of the positions you might go for. So some questions to ask yourself is what kind of work gives you energy and what kind of work drains you? Do you like repetitive work? Do you not like repetitive work? Do you like to be in systems or do you like to be with people? All these factors come into play to fit your work style. When you think of times that you've been really successful, that you've just honed in on your complex skills, so that means you're hitting that flow state where the challenge meets the right amount of skill that you have. Where was that at? Was it in problem solving, firefighting? Or was it in finding those discrepancies in a system and being able to navigate to close that gap? I want you to start to break down those tendencies in which you thrive and that energy naturally happens instead of you forcing through your work days. I want you to think of two type of strengths that you have within those work styles that will help you start to job match, because you know that when you are in the zone, work is easier. Those days just fly by and you go home and you're not exhausted. It's not about the circumstances, it's about where your energy is aligned. Now, to help you groom up your resume to fit those right rules so that you make sure that the job you're applying for is a good match for your work style, I want you to use certain language for each work style. For D's, our dominants, again, they're fast movers, they're results orientated. So some things you can put on your resume to match that up to the role you want is driven by outcomes, or optimize performance by this much, or reduce time of this by this much. What you're doing is you're highlighting your accomplishments, the impact of them, and the speed of the improvement. Now, I's are social bunnies. You're going to want to do more team orientated phrases, saying things on your resume like collaborated with, strengthen client relationships by, increase participation through. All those things are saying I'm a team orientated work style. And what you're highlighting is communication wins, the creativity put in place, and that relationship building. Now, S's are supportives, resume phrases that you want to use to show that you're methodical, you're system orientated, you are that big background team support is supported team through maintained constant workflow through this project or guided transitions of this, and this. So those things are showing that you're reliable, that you're bringing harmony to the team, and that you have a service-based mindset, saying, I am a support role. I don't want to be at the front lines. I want to support the team in the background. Now let's move on to our C's. These are our data and details type of work styles, and phrases you want to use on your resume to align with a role that you want is ensured accuracy of, improved quality by, develop process, analyze data, showing that you are an info and data system-based person. And this is highlighting the precision, the system thinking, and the problem analysis that you love to do. And what you're doing is you're moving away from the tasks you have completed in each role to having your resume signal the kind of environment in which you thrived in, that you were super successful at. Now let's dig into what type of roles should you be looking for to align your work style to that natural energy. Let's go through the 4. These are dominance, high drive roles. So these are looking for autonomy. They have a lot of KPI or data metrics to the role. There's going to be decision making in which you are the decision maker, and it's a little bit more fast paced. For example, if you're really good at sales and it's not out there getting customers, maybe that's the wrong role for you, because also in sales, there's more of an account management role, and that's a little bit slower pace and you're building relationships. That might not be for your work style. Your work style is going out there getting new business because, again, fast pace, you have that autonomy, and you're making decisions. If you're an I, roles you're going to want to look for is collaboration. Where can you be applying your creativity? Where can you have engagement opportunities? And something also to think about with I's is the office environment. So as much as I am a huge advocate for remote work, I's will slowly disengage because they are isolated. So a hybrid role will be better suited for an I influence social type of work style than fully remote, because they're going to feel very disconnected from the team. So is it a nice perk to have and get some deep work done? Yes. But if you are too isolated as a work style I, you're going to feel a little bit lost and lonely from the team. You need that collaboration and that energy exchange. So a hybrid role or in office role would be better suited for you. Now let's move over to S's. S's again are stability, so you want a little bit more predictable pace, right? Don't go into a very chaotic industry or a chaotic company. You also want to be in a team-focused environment because you want to support everyone. You want everyone to do well, but you avoid conflict. Those high conflict environments you're going to want to avoid. The ones you're going to be part of that you're going to make a big impact are small businesses, companies that have very clarified roles and responsibilities. So here's your role, here's where you support them, and here's where your role stops. And that will help you from some of that conflict avoidance. So the predictability that comes into play and the support that can bring to the team is really the ideal environment that you want to go into. Now let's talk about C's. C's want to get into systems. They want to get into data. They want to get into the process. They want to have time to hone down on that accuracy within systems and data and what they're collecting. So when you're looking at roles as a high C, maybe you're looking at tech or research or quality assurance, analysis type of roles, and that's really where your energy, again, is going to thrive. Now let's look at the interview process. Again, your resume is aligning to the environment that you're seeking, where your work style thrives and is successful. Now that needs to continue into the interview. So this is how you speak. This is how you're going to firm up the strengths you talk about. This is your work preferences when you start asking those questions. And similar to what we've been discussing, what's on the resume, you want to make sure that you're aligning your work style to the environment and job that you want. So for a DR dominance that moves really fast, interview phrases like, I approach problems by, or I move quickly to solutions by doing this. Those are showing, one, you're a fast mover, but also you're a problem solver, you're a decision maker, and you like autonomy. For an I in influence, which is our social people, they want to show energy. So they might say phrases like, I build momentum by, I motivate others through, I help lead the team by doing XYZ. So these things are showing that you kind of lead the motivation, the energy, the creativity in your past projects and positions. Now, supportives are S's, they want stability. So they can literally say that I create stability by XYZ. I'm known for being dependable by doing this, that, the other thing. And using very specific examples is going to help also firm up what that means, because one company might see stability as something else versus another company. So when you can say things like, I create stability by creating standard operating procedures so everyone knows the next step, those type of things are showing that you are okay to change, but it needs to be in a stable and methodical type of process. Now, C's are compliance. Things you want to look out for in your phrases is, I make decisions grounded in so and so, right? It's saying, I don't move unless I have data and information, without saying that directly. So it says, I can make decisions, but there are some things that are grounded in how I make decisions. The other thing you can say is, I improve quality by, and again, it shows the value of having all that data and information to move forward. Now, there's roles, again, where that's not going to fit. They just need you to make a decision. They just need you to move forward. And you are mismatched for that role. So by you saying those comments, it's going to show a mismatch. And I want you to know that is okay, because we're aligning you to better work days, to have energy at home and have a life without carrying all that workload on your back that is a mismatch from the beginning. So when you say, I make decisions grounded by, or I improve quality by, and that's not what they're looking for, that's okay, because there's going to be a role that is aligned to that, and you're really going to thrive and be successful at it. Now, you're not trying to become what the job wants. That's where it gets misaligned. Your days get drained and you end up in burnout. You're trying to match the job to what you naturally are, how you naturally work. So I want you to rewrite one bullet on your resume, reframe one interview response that you normally say, and shift it towards your disc strength, how you naturally work. And that one shift can change the employer that notices you for that perfect job. If you're unsure on what disc work style you are, go ahead and grab up an assessment linked in the notes.